always kind of nice to follow prizes and all that good stuff. So, and actually, it was great to follow Ron. I had a similar experience with Broadsoft, and that they're not very cloud, and it's so refreshing to be part of 2600. So it's great to hear that. So let's get beyond my picture. So at Phonami, what we looked at is kind of cloud ecosystems, and we had started at partnering with Broadsoft providers to do that, and they weren't very cloud. And we could set up some of these Google apps in 5 minutes, and we could get them on a trial with Salesforce in 5 minutes, and then it was 3 weeks to get somebody started on Broadsoft and telecom, and that just didn't work for people. So, really with cloud and APIs, right? We want to be able to pull these cloud ecosystems together, and telephony really needs to be looked at as SaaS from our approach. And one of the first things that I realized is that the unified communications as it stood today was really letting end users down. As a salesperson, I don't get measured by the number of voicemails in my email. I get measured by the data in my CRM and other applications. And so we partnered with a company called Unify and did the cloud communications, and we're working on that integration with our 2600 platform. But as I'm here and I'm watching and I'm learning, it's like they're doing such a good job here at 2600 of having all these APIs and everything available, whether you partner with somebody like Unify like we're doing, or if you do it on your own. But what you can do is bring together everything into a cloud ecosystem. And by doing that, then you get to participate in all the other cloud marketplaces. And one of the things that we did is we created our admin panel so that we could, it was marketing. Right? We followed the simple rules of Google that you need to be single sign-on and you need to be able to activate an account right away to do it. And 2600 allows us to do that, which all the other, Cisco's and Broadsofts and RingCentrals, they don't have the capability of doing that. So if you go and look up PBX in Google Marketplace, you won't find anybody but us, because they can't do it that way. So, one of the things that really kind of got me thinking about was, there is a huge difference between hosted and cloud, right? And a cloud model kind of follows some principles or whatever you want to call them, but it's self-servicing, right? It's multi-tenant. It's all features for one price, right? And it's that immediate activation. So everybody out there that is doing hosted services, they're not cloud, right? If you kind of look at the history of email and compare it, right? So we used to have the server in the corner that was covered in dust, right? But you had to have an IT guy that had to work that. And then we got a little smarter. We moved it to a data center and had better uptime. You still needed the IT guy to work on it. Then Google Apps came along, and the newest guy that you hired freshly out of college could all of a sudden be your email administrator. When we saw Monster, we were like, that's it. And at Phonami, we used Monster. We went right over Kazoo because we saw it had that same cloud appeal, and so that we could do those same, cloud ecosystems where that next, we didn't have to call somebody to be the phone admin, right? We need to be there for our customers, but it's about making things easier for people to manage their own environment. So really, when we look at 2600, then how do we do that, right? And then we take, not only now that we're cloud, not hosted, and now we can go into the Google Apps Marketplace, and we can look at all the other marketplaces of the partners that we have, because if you look at like accounting, if you're like with FreshBooks or Zendesk or Help Desk, they all have apps integrated in there, right? So to me, it's about those cloud ecosystems, and it's about being able to get out to places where millions and millions of people are, right? I think if the telecom guy, the Google Apps guy, and the Salesforce guy all walked into a customer at the same time, you'd probably look at the Google Apps guy and say, come on in. The Salesforce guy, they'd say, yeah, wait a couple minutes. And the telecom guy may not ever get in. The telecom's kind of not been sexy for a while, right? But bring telecom to cloud and connecting to your whole cloud ecosystem, we've got something really cool that we get to work with. And that's what we're finding. And our customers look at us and just go, this is fantastic. I have people that voluntarily send me emails and just say, wow, I just want you to know as a customer, this is great. And when I got into the cloud ecosystem work, I really never expected to have that. And it's really being driven from now having user-friendly telecom. So from a marketing standpoint, I think it's a big opportunity for everybody that's here, that not only are these marketplaces out there, but other telecom companies don't have the advantages that I think people that are using this platform do. And I think it's important for all of us to realize that we are, it should be, to me, it should be 2600 against the world, right? And everybody here has a common goal to say, we're going to change telecom for the better because we got the best platform, right? And how do we work with each other to do that, right? So, because these other guys are claiming to be able to do the stuff that we already have. These guys are busted their ass to do, and they didn't pay me to say this or anything. That's how much I like what we have to work with. Because I spent 2 years working with people that wouldn't listen. It would make promises, and then they wouldn't deliver, and then I'd be stuck, in front of my customer just saying, I'm working on it. And 3 weeks later, they're pissed, right? The wow I get from people I've gone back to and say, hey, 15 minutes later, here's a telephone number, make a phone call. They're like, unbelievable, right? So, off on a little bit of a tangent, but this is getting really fun. And to be able to go into marketplaces, so we went into the Google Apps Marketplace. And so the one thing I didn't like was that we couldn't add multiple users at a time. But the APIs are there, so we were able to tap into the directory within our Google Apps users and then just pop them up and send them in. So if they're a Google Apps user, I don't care how many, if they have 500 users, we can activate that whole account in under 30 minutes. Right? Kind of like Salesforce, right? You can activate the trial in 5 minutes, but you do have a lot of work to do after that. But we do have the wow factor, being able to activate and say, here's all your users. Now we got to go through and set up extensions and voicemails and devices. But they're there, they can touch it, and they can see that they're live, right? And but the numbers don't lie, right? So if you look at the Google Apps Marketplace, there's 5 million organizations, 50 million users, just to be visible there, right? And to us, our approach was, cloud is here. Cloud is proven it's going to stay here. So we want to be in all these marketplaces and just keep continuing to increase our visibility. And really, 2600 gave us the platform to do it, and the open APIs. Some days I didn't really do much, but it's cool stuff, and it's so easy to do it. But you got to get out there and do it. So. So this is what our admin panel looks like. So you can activate an account, you can add, delete users, and then you can log into Monster UI. It's very simple, but it does a couple things. One, gets us in front of 5 million businesses on a daily basis, which, look at PBX. In the Chrome store, I think Nextiva is one that's in there. But if you read the reviews, they go, this isn't an app. This is just takes you to their website so you can buy them. Right? So they didn't do anything but piss people off. Right? With us, you actually can go in and create and activate and use your account. So, and then, the simple things that we followed were not only being able to go in and see the contacts, but we have single sign-on, and you can, put in your credit card, update users, and do, multiple user upload and connect in. So, if you go to the Google Apps Marketplace, this is just our profile of how we did it. But those simple rules that Google has to go into the marketplace can't be done unless you're cloud. And this is truly a cloud platform, and everybody else that says they're hosted just bother me to death now, because it's just like you're selling what you're not, right? So, that's it. I just wanted to share with you guys how we took our approach of getting telecom to connect back with the applications and looking at telecom more as SaaS than being out on an island. And with everything that APIs can do, actually I'll leave you another story. So last year when I went to Dreamforce with Salesforce, Mark Benioff, their CEO, said it's mobile, API. Right? And no other platform that we looked for actually since last year even came close to this functionality that we need, and besides 2600. So that's it. Any questions for me? I'm happy to answer.